Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely crucial. We're unpacking a framework that answers a huge question. What really separates people who just dream about success from the ones who actually make it happen? I want you to imagine a very specific journey. Think back to a time when you tried something really difficult. Maybe people laughed when you failed, right? Or maybe they just completely ignored you while you were struggling. But now, imagine a future where those exact same people come up to you and ask, how did you become so unstoppable? How did you pull off the impossible? Well, based on the framework we're exploring today, it's not because you got lucky, and it's definitely not because someone swooped in to save the day. It happens because of a very specific mental shift. Let's look at the absolute foundation of that shift. Nobody is coming to save you. I really want to let that sink in for a second. The source material points out that the day you truly grasp this single hard-hitting sentence, your life changes forever. I know, it sounds a bit harsh at first, doesn't it? But honestly, it's incredibly liberating. It strips away literally every excuse. Because when you stop looking outward for a rescuer, you are forced to look inward for a leader. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, stop waiting for motivation. This leads us directly to the biggest trap identified in our source material, the waiting game. It's like sitting in your car at a green light, just expecting your destination to come to you. The text calls out 3 major things the average person spends their life waiting for. First up, motivation. Waiting until they literally feel like doing the work. Second, the perfect opportunity. They want the stars to perfectly align with absolutely zero risk involved. And third, they wait for someone to believe in them. They need that external validation before they'll even take a single step. But here is the real tragedy highlighted here. While they're sitting around waiting for all these external factors to perfectly align, the years just vanish. Time does not wait for your perfect moment. Nothing's going to change if we just sit around waiting to feel inspired. And this brilliantly illustrates a sharp contrast. The text explicitly notes that the strongest people aren't necessarily born with some superpower. They just stop waiting. Think about it. The average person complains about their circumstances. They constantly seek attention and validation. And, well, they sleep in, just letting the day dictate their schedule. The strong, on the other hand, operate on a completely different system. They put their heads down and do the work. They stay silent while everyone else is making noise. They wake up before the rest of the world even starts moving. It is a fundamental shift toward relentless, proactive action. What's super striking about this framework is how it views our feelings. It makes a bold claim: success strictly rewards discipline, period. It doesn't care if you feel sad or tired or completely uninspired today. It only rewards your ability to execute the plan regardless of the emotional weather you're dealing with in the moment. And you know what? Deep down, the strongest people know this truth intimately.
Part 2. Pain is your teacher.
So what exactly happens when you do the work but you still get knocked down? The framework asks us to look at this really fascinating scenario. Imagine life hits 2 different people with the exact same failure or betrayal. The weak mindset reacts by asking, why did this happen to me? Bam, that question instantly turns you into a victim. But the strong mindset, it asks, what is this trying to teach me? That right there is a crucial difference. The question you ask yourself in that acute moment of pain dictates your entire outcome. One creates a victim, and the other creates a student who is about to level up. The text actually refers to this evolutionary state as the dark mindset. Now hold on. Despite sounding like some supervillain origin story, this isn't about becoming cold or callous or emotionally dead. Not at all. It's entirely about pure resilience. It's about developing the psychological armor that makes you impossible to break. It's a highly protective, incredibly functional mechanism that allows you to absorb massive impact without shattering into a million pieces. Let's move to and see how this builds in action. Step 1, life hits you. That's a given. It's unavoidable. Step 2, you don't cry forever. Sure, you process it, but you don't unpop your bags and live in the misery. Step 3, you rebuild. And step 4, you do it again and again. The source material paints this incredible picture of a continuous loop of resilience. You just keep going until failure itself actually gets tired of chasing you. You literally just outlast the adversity. Part 3, the power of consistency. This brings us to a really fascinating thought experiment from the text, and I want you to picture this. Imagine 2 people starting a journey at the exact same time. Person A quits the literal moment they face their first major setback. Person B, they just put their head down and keep going. And not just for a week, but for 5 years. And they do it without any applause, without any external validation, no viral fame, nothing. Think about it for a second. Who wins? The answer is brilliantly simple: the one who survives longer. Endurance and survival are the true deciders of victory. It's not always about who is the smartest or the fastest or who has the most funding. Often, the person who wins the whole shebang is simply the person who flat out refuses to quit playing the game.
So the crucial point is how the text breaks this down into a definitive hierarchy, a clear set of rules for what actually commands respect in the real world. Consistency is greater than talent. Discipline is greater than motivation. Silence and just doing the work is way greater than making empty promises on social media. And ultimately, results are always greater than excuses. The world notices results, right? It literally does not care about perfectly crafted reasons for why things couldn't get done.
Part 4. The price of greatness. This brings us to the ultimate realization of this journey, the reality behind what people so dismissively call luck. When people finally see your results, they might wave it off and say, they just got a lucky break. But what they never see are the early mornings where you suffered just to drag yourself out of bed. They don't see the late nights where you sat all alone and completely doubted yourself and your path. They never see the sacrifices you made when absolutely no one was watching to applaud you. That hidden, painful, lonely work, that is the actual price of greatness behind literally every so-called lucky success story. Which brings us to a really stark binary choice that we all have to make. The text lays it out clearly. Comfort builds average people. Pressure builds legends. You cannot have both. We have to stop begging the universe for an easy life, because an easy life is not going to forge you into the person you need to become. Instead of asking for life to become easier, the framework suggests you have to actively choose to become stronger by purposefully stepping right into the pressure. Ultimately, the framework points to self-mastery as the ultimate shield against a totally chaotic world. Because if you can master your discipline, your consistency, and your reaction to pain, you can never be fully controlled by outside circumstances, ever again. You stop being a victim of your reality, and you become the architect of it. I want to leave you with this final, powerful thought from the text. Your future is watching what you do today. Don't disappoint it. So ask yourself, when that future version of you looks back at the decisions you made today, will they see someone who just sat